Yes, now we are on this chapter of SSC again on page 225. That's rural livelihoods. How do rural people live along? What is their life? What type of culture they stay in? How does the village people go around with their lives? Occupation wise, people may be divided into three groups. Those engaged in primary occupation are called agriculture, mining, and quarrying. Quarrying is stoning, cutting out quarries, taking out stone, digging. Mining is going down much more than quarrying, and agriculture. Secondary occupation is manufacturing, and the tertiary occupations are service, trade and commerce, banking and insurance. People who are engaged in primary occupations will be discussed in this chapter and the rest in the next chapter. We will find out the different ways in which people earn their living in villages today. So we are going into the primary occupation, that's agriculture, mining and quarrying. Dumri is a village in Bihar. There are different ways in which people earn their livings here. Some villages work in farms, others are engaged in masonry, that is they are mistris, making buildings, pottery, brick making, basket making and carpentry. Some people such as teachers, washermen, barbers and cycle repair mechanics provide services. There are some shopkeepers also. There are few small pakka houses on the main street which sell sweets, meat, fish, eggs, utensils, bangles, grocery, medicines, cloth, fertilizers and seeds. There are two tea shops that sell samosa and jalebis. Next to these shops live a carpenter's family whose home serves as a workshop. They use sesame or you can say sesame wood, which you call sesame wood, and they use sesame wood and wood from mango trees for making furniture such as chairs and beds. A few steps away, the potter Kumhar also works from his home. He makes pots of various sizes and shapes from clay. He also makes small tiles which are used to build roofs. The person who helps the villagers cross the river is called a Malla. His name is Pattu. He also catches fish from the river. Other ways of travelling in this village are by rickshaw or horse cart. Rickshaw pullers and horse cart drivers take people to the nearest city and the railway station. The village is surrounded by fields of wheat, rice, sugarcane and corn. Chana and dal are also grown. Vegetables such as potatoes, brinjals, tomatoes, onions are also grown. Flowers such as marigold and roses are grown all over the village. Marigolds are gaida fools. They are sold in the cities. Most families earn a living through agriculture. Some people go to the nearby town to work as construction workers and lorry drivers. Okay, so this is the story about the place. What is the place? Dumri. Now, the story of Sugana. I am Sugana. I, along with Dev Kumari, Munni, Shanti and others, work on Kashinath's land. He has 20 acres of land in Dumri. On this he grows rice. Before I was married, I used to work in the sugarcane fields. I work from 9 am to 5 pm. I do not have regular work throughout the year. Whenever there is work, Kashinath calls me. Kashinath pays rupees 100 per day to males and 50 per day to females. That's sad. We have to transplant paddy. After the plants have grown a bit, we have to do the weeding and later the harvesting. Baiju is another rich farmer who gets cheap labor from other villages. We work on the farms. We are called koiris. My husband's name is Lalan. He does not own any land. He prepares the fields with hoe, plows the land, waters and manures it. He also sprinkles pesticides. When there is no work on the farm, he has to find other work like making bricks, carrying bricks, building roads and houses. Apart from working on the land, I also work at home. I cook food for my family, clean the house and wash clothes. I also go with the other women to collect firewood. We fetch water from the village well. There are 15 wells in the village. Some rich people have hand pumps in their houses. My husband gets the grocery for the house. We have a son and a daughter. They go to school and also help me with the household work. Sometimes they help in the fields. They also help in weeding the grass. They look after the cattle. Sometimes we prepare jaggery, that is gur, at home and sell it in the Dumri market to earn extra money. Last year my daughter fell ill. There is a small dispensary in the village which has doctor and 2 nurses. Since we could not meet the expenses of the dispensary, we had to borrow money from Kashinath for her treatment. As you saw Sugana's case, poor families in rural areas spend a lot of time every day collecting firewood, getting water, grazing the cattle, cooking and cleaning. Near 2/5 of rural families in our country are agricultural laborers. They don't have land. There are some who have small plots and land while others such as Sugana and Lalan are landless. Not being able to earn money throughout the year forces people to migrate to other areas in search of work. Migration takes place during particular seasons. Chotak, I own a small piece of land, only 2 bighas. My family does all the work in the fields during the harvest season. I take the help of other farmers and in turn I help them to harvest their fields. I have taken a loan from Vishnu for buying seeds, fertilizer and pesticides. Vishnu is a trader from Delhi. I have to pay interest on this loan. To pay back this loan, I give him wheat at a lower price. I will probably get 15 bags of wheat this year from my field. I will sell 10 bags to settle the loan while 5 bags will be used at home. This will not be enough. So I will have to work in Kashinath's rice mill which is a few miles from Dumri. We also have 2 cows. We sell their milk to the local milk cooperative. This brings us extra money to meet our needs. In debt, when they don't have money, they take loan from other people. Many times small farmers such as Chotak have to borrow money to purchase seeds, fertilizers and pesticides. Often they borrow this money from rich farmers and shopkeepers, traders or money lenders who give it on interest. Crops are sometimes ruined because the either seed is not of good quality or pests attack them, insects. Crops can also fail if the monsoon is not good. In such a situation, farmers are unable to pay back their loan. Sometimes to survive, they may have to borrow more money, making it impossible for them to return. In some areas, farmers have committed suicide because of this. They are not able to pay back. Farmers also take loans when there is a marriage in the family. At times, they have to sell or mortgage their small lands in order to repay the loan, turning them into landless farmers. Kashinath and Vishnu, these land fellows. In addition to land, Kashinath's family owns a rice mill and a cloth shop. He buys rice from Dumri and the surrounding villages. They earn a lot of money from this. For running the rice mill, they use some of their own money and borrow some from the government bank. Vishnu is a big farmer who owns a lot of land which he grows sugarcane. Mill owners and traders buy sugarcane from him for use in sugar mills. Traders come from cities such as Delhi and Mumbai to buy truckloads of wheat and rice. Sadanand, his house is near the sea. They have small boats. Some of them are owned by the fishermen, while others are on hire. Some boats have engines fitted to them so they can go far out to the sea for a bigger catch, means they can bring in more fish. Sadanand leaves home very early in the morning with the others. And 7 a.m. and he comes back with his catch. Some of the fish caught are kept aside for the family to consume. The rest is auctioned to women who come from the nearby village. Traders also buy fish to sell in the towns. Some of the money obtained by selling fish is kept away for repairing the boat and the buying equipment. In the evening, the nets are untangled and repaired. Neelmani and Sadanand have a difficult time during the monsoon. For about 4 months, Sadanand does not go fishing because it is breeding time for fishes. They earn money by making baskets. Recently, he took a loan from the bank to buy a bigger boat. Agricultural laborers and farmers in India. In Dumri, there are agricultural laborers like Sugana, many small farmers like Chotak, and a few big farmers like Kashinath. In India, about 2 out of every 5 rural families are agricultural laborers. They work on the fields of other people. They are either landless or own very little land. Chotak's land is not enough to meet his needs in India. 80% of the farmers are like him. Only 20% of Indians farmers are like Kashinath, who have got land and they do their farming. These big farmers own most of the land in the villages. A large part of what is produced is sold in the market. Many big farmers are also engaged in other businesses. Apart from farming, many people in rural areas depend upon poultry farming, animal husbandry, Dairy production, fishing and collection of from the forest, collecting maua, tendu leaves and honey and selling it to traders is an important source of income for them. Type of farmers. In India, the three agricultural classes are landowners, tenants and laborers. The fourth class is non-agriculturists. Commodities are sold to the traders in the village itself. Agricultural produce in the mandis is largely marketed through private intermediaries who control both credit as well as the distribution of the produce. They go to the mandi, from the mandi private people pick it up. Landlords or maliks, owners, are two types. Absentee landlords who stay in the cities or towns and who reside in the village in which they own the land. The malik derives his agriculture income primarily from property rights. He gets a share of the produce of the land he owns in cash as well as in kind. He may give his land either to a tenant or may cultivate it by hiring laborers. He may manage the hired laborers himself or through a manager. Kisans are the farmers, maybe small landowners or tenants. The difference between malik and the small kisan is the size of the land owned by them. The kisan himself and one or more members of his family actually work in the field. Sometimes the income of the kisan is so little that he and his family members work on agricultural laborers. Mazdus are those landless villagers who earn their livelihood primarily from working on other people's land. Mazdus, laborers, they receive wages in cash or kind. A new power structure has emerged in villages. The power holders may be classified into groups. Those who have power based on the ownership and control of land, those who have power based on their caste, those who have power based on numerical strength, muscle power, those who have power because of the position they hold in the panchayats or their local bodies. So now these things are happening. Read this chapter and take down your word meanings or whatever they are and read it, understand and do the question answers, fill in the blanks. True and false. I'll post whatever I have to post. Okay, so then we'll have the urban livelihoods and then we are done. Urban livelihood is the last chapter. So see you soon. Get this work done and take care.